And they go and they take over, for example, Poland. And Poland becomes almost totally controlled by the European Jew. Many Israeli rulers have come from Poland. And then they leave Poland and they move out into Western Europe. And as they move out into Western Europe, they become the driving forces behind the French Revolution. And they become the driving forces behind the Bolshevik Revolution, which overturns Russia. And having overturned Western Europe, they then cross the Atlantic. And over a period of maybe 50 years or less, they're able to take control of the United States. To such an extent that in 1916, the showdown took place. Henry Ford is the most popular American alive. He's an icon of America. He's the man who took the automobile, which was the exclusive privilege of the wealthy. Only the rich could afford a motor car. And Henry Ford, through his introduction of the production lines in Detroit, is able to bring down the cost of a motor car to about $700 or $750. And so millions of Americans can now afford to buy a motor car thanks to Henry Ford. Henry Ford also doesn't bother about market wage and minimum wage. Henry Ford decides, I want to pay my labor force a wage which is a just wage, and me ain't care what the others pay. And so he pays a just wage. And in paying a just wage, and in showing his genius in establishing the production line and bringing the motor car and making it available to the average American, Henry Ford became the most popular American, more popular than the president. In 1916, Henry Ford used all the power that he had, used all the wealth that he had, to try to prevent the United States from entering the war. But the Jews had made a deal with Britain. What was the deal? If you will promise to give us the Holy Land, we'll bring the United States in the war. Public opinion in the United States from 1914 to 1916 was against entering into the war. You can check all of this out, yourself. Do the research. And yet, the European Jew, who is now an American Jew, through his skillful control of the media, through his skillful manipulation of public opinion, through the skillful influence he exerts upon the White House, the European Jew succeeds in 1916 in bringing the United States into the war. And so we now have identified something more than simple Western civilization, something more than simply the white world order. We are now capable of refining our definition and locating Gog and Magog in a special part of Europe from where they spread out. They are the Cheza tribes who eventually converted and became Jews. Now, let me recommend to you a book. There's only one real book to read on this subject. PHIR 13 Tribe by, anybody remembers the name of the author? No? It's a Hungarian historian, Kurs, K-O-E-R-S-A-E-R. Something like that is the name. But the book is on the internet. You can download it. Just fiddle around with something like 13 tribe on the internet and see. Spell it? 13. The 13th tribe. Kursla, or whatever is his name, in describing the European Jew who has come from the Kheza tribe, calls it the 13th tribe. Now then, before we end our subject of identifying Gog and Magog. When Gog and Magog are released, the first of them will pass by the Sea of Galilee. If you pass by the Sea of Galilee, you're heading for Jerusalem. And by the time the last of them pass, they'll say there used to be water here. So we're looking for a European people with that power who will be moving from Europe to the Holy Land. This is the European Jew. That's where he is now. And so we have come to the conclusion that we can now identify the origin of Gog and Magog in the Kheza tribes. But remember, when they are released, they make carbon copies of themselves. They take over different people, and as they take over a people, those people now begin to imitate the way of life of Gog and Magog. Like, did I tell you? But when I was a 14-year-old boy, I used to be 14 once upon a time. Yeah. SHA and I know that when we were boys, I mean, we never saw blue jeans. And then one Sunday morning as a teenager, we saw blue jeans for the first time. Everybody wanted to wear blue jeans now. But one horrible Sunday morning, we saw our sisters in blue jeans. What? We never saw a girl in blue jeans in all our lives. You all don't know this experience, you know, that we had. And then, worse than that came. The day when we saw our fathers wearing blue jeans. And then even worse than that, the day when mothers started wearing blue jeans. And then worse than that, when grandpa started wearing blue jeans. And then we see grandma in blue jeans. Huh? And then one day you see the priest in blue jeans. You see the rabbi in blue jeans. And if you wait long enough, you might even see blue jeans on the mimbar giving the khutbah one day. And we saw the Chinese in blue jeans. And the Japanese in blue jeans. And holy of all holies, one day we saw the black African in blue jeans. And then we saw the Arab in blue jeans. And the Persians in blue jeans. And even the Pakistanis in blue jeans. What's going on? What's going on? Is this by accident, I ask you? Put on your thinking cap. And so while Gog and Magog emerge from the Kheza tribes, that's only the origin. As they embrace other people, they expand, they multiply, and they create carbon copies of themselves. Until eventually 999 out of every 1,000 becomes a carbon copy of Gog and Magog. When that happens, then the Muslim who follows Nabi Muhammad ﷺ is a very lonely creature. because he's out of step with the rest of the world. He's different. And they now grinding their teeth with anger. Why can't these Muslims dress the way we dress? Live the way we live? Why they always have to talk about this Insha'Allah and Subhanallah and Alhamdulillah and MashaAllah? But we give up that kind of language long time ago. We don't use these expressions anymore. But look at them Muslims. And so life becomes difficult for a Muslim. How difficult? What did the Prophet say about hot coals? He said the time will come when in order to live the life of Islam it will be equivalent to holding hot coals. You know what's the implication of that? If you have an Islam and you are moving serenely and quietly and peacefully and you have the experience of hot coals, brother, you ain't have Islam. That's the implication. Alright, we will end with that today. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.